Up next, from Authentic Gourmet, how about we take a little trip and we go to Paris? And we're going to go to the French bakeries that have those most delicate, most delicious warm croissants. You can pick up 20, 40, or 60. Auto delivery is available every 90 days for the next year. And if you're going with the 20 pack, you have a $4 savings there. It's $54.98 and an easy pay of $18.33. It's $2.74 each. If you are going with the 40 pack, you're saving $9. It's $79.98, $26.66 on your easy pay, and it's $1.99 each. If you're going with your 60 pack, you're saving $9 there, $34.99 on your easy pay, and it's $1.83 each. I was in Paris last year. I did not pay $1.83, $1.99, or $2.74 for any of the croissants that I had, and I ate them every single day, at least twice a day. They were more expensive when I was there in Paris, and yet we are going to Paris for you, and we are sending it right to you at your doorstep. You simply just bake them in your oven. Jennifer Kovich is the one who's joining us here for us with these. Jen, I absolutely love that we can take you to France without going to France.
Right, exactly. There's no passport needed. We take you right to France to enjoy all of these incredible, delectable pastries. And I love that we really give you authentic French ingredients with a century-old recipe. So you really are getting that cream of the crop experience. And imagine, I mean, waking up Mother's Day and this is what you're being served. Maybe, you know, you're going to give this for your wife and serve this for her for Mother's Day, breakfast in bed. I cannot possibly think of a better breakfast pastry than an authentic croissant from France.
I absolutely agree. That was the first thing when I landed in Paris that we went to go get, and we had them all day, every day. Because if you've never been to Paris before, you know, a croissant is so difficult to make, and for many people, it could take years to be able to perfect that. Well, you always want to, if you're going to make it at home, buy it where it's pre-made. And oftentimes it can be pretty pricey. Here, it's so affordable to be able to do so. Between the easy pays, the amount that we give you, I mean, this really is such a great, phenomenal value on authentic croissants that are from Paris still. Like they came from there, right? I don't want to skip over that.
Right, I know. So when we say authentic gourmet, everything that we bring you is imported. We are bringing you authentic French croissants directly to your door. Now, this is not let's take a French recipe and let's build it with American ingredients and let's see how it turns out. This is made in France with French butter, sweet, creamy, delectable French butter that is in between 66 layers of whisper thin puff pastry. I cut this one open so you can really see all of those layers in there, because there's really, like you said, in order to master this is one thing, but another when you're able to do it with French ingredients. Say we go right to Brittany, France to get our French butter. We're using French flour, French water. There's a reason why so many people will travel to France and they say they've never felt better after eating the food. It's the quality of the ingredients. This is no exception. So even if you want to have a dessert, you can absolutely create a beautiful dessert. You can have it for breakfast. You can have it for lunch. Use this on your chicken salad sandwiches rather than a traditional bread that we have here. This is lighter fare. It's easier to digest. It is so incredibly flavorful and delicious in and of itself.
And look how big that plate is.
It really allows you to elevate it. I know, right?
That's just 2 croissants that you have on there, and that's it. And then a little bit of fresh berries, a little creme fraiche with that as well. What a delectable, beautiful breakfast that you can have. Or maybe it's going to be your dessert if you're adding that chocolate onto it. Absolutely, we're talking dessert now as well. This is M56347. You have your choice of 20, 40, or 60 of these. The more that you stock up on, the more affordable it gets for each one. If you want the 20 count, $2.75 a croissant. The 40 count, $2 a croissant. And the 60 count, $1.84 a croissant. $1.74 a croissant in order to do that. This is H56347. Let's talk about how they come, because, you know, as I'm thinking 20, 40, 60, well, it's me and Nick. So do I have to take them out all at a time and cook them all at once, or could I pull them out one at a time?
No, you just pull them out one at a time. And thank you so
Perfect.
much, because I think it's really important to understand. See how thin that is? This is how they arrive. You're getting all 66 layers of that puff pastry, and then you're getting that free glaze. So we give you 67 layers of that French butter. Now, look at how they puff up in the oven. Keep in mind, you are truly baking these fresh every single time. So you put these at 350 degrees in your oven on parchment paper from frozen. Justin, you can make these at any time that you want. It takes up minimal real estate because they're nice and flat in your freezer. And that's really important. So when we talk about 60, you don't have to store a bunch that are already pre-baked. You're baking them fresh every single day. So your home is going to smell like a French patisserie. You get to decide when you want them, how many that you bake at a time. These have a 1-year shelf life in the freezer. So thinking about, if you were to get 60, you have Mother's Day, you have Father's Day, you have baby showers, you have bridal showers, you have graduation parties, you have visitors coming for the summer, you have, I'm going to rip my hair out because my kids are home and I just want to keep them happy. This is what you serve everyone.
I love that you have so many different ways that you're going to be able to use these. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, maybe a little bit of chicken salad in between them, slice one in half, and now I've got a perfect lunch. Maybe I'm gonna take this and take some homemade jam. I made my homemade blueberry jam for my family's, blueberries picked from my family's farm, and then made it into jam. Throw that there. How about some bacon, egg, and cheese that you would put on a croissant as well? Look, I've gone to the gas station that's around here where you can order that and you can get it on a croissant, and you do not pay $2.75 for that. You pay way more, easily triple the price. Here, you can bake this at your own house. You can make that at your own house. Jen said, like, think about Mother's Day and how perfect it would be to have that warm croissant right from France, right there. Breakfast in bed has never been better than when it's with this. But it's also something that you are going to find that you are going to gravitate towards for so many different reasons. You're going to be using this as that little pastry in the morning when you want to have that little pick-me-up. Maybe it's going to be late at night and you're having a decaf coffee or tea and you want to just have a little bit of that pastry along with it. If you want it, we have it available in 3 different sizes. 20 size, the 20 pack, that comes to $2.75 each, 500 remain there. That's an easy pay of $18.33. Now we have double that, it's a 40 pack, did not double the price. In fact, the price went up by like $25, and that was it for another 20. And the price each would be $2 or an easy pay of $26.66, $5.75 in the 40 pack. Now, if you want it in the 60 pack, that is going to be the one that is going to really save you the most money. 60 of them you're going to bring home for $104.98 or an easy pay of $34.99. Comes down to $1.74 each, which is really phenomenal. But 140 remain there, and that's it. So the 60 pack, that is by far the most limited one in order to bring home. And that most certainly is the one that makes the most sense because it's going to give you the lowest price per croissant. You also are going to see, like I'm looking at that, those are massive, massive pastries.
These are the largest that we have currently and that we've had for quite some time. Look at how huge this is. When you are walking the streets of Paris and you want a fresh croissant like you just experienced, Justin, on your honeymoon, imagine you are able to have this exact size. This is so incredible that we're truly sending to your door an authentic experience. And again, I can't stress enough, real French ingredients, century-old recipe, 66 layers. I mean, imagine it's puff pastry butter, over and over and over. And there is a method to creating that perfect croissant and getting that to absolute perfection. And all you have to do is not worry about any of that. You just have to bake these from frozen. No proofing, no rising, nothing that you have to worry about. Am I going to do it right? Am I going to do it wrong? It is so easy. Just pop it in your oven on parchment paper. That's all we recommend. from frozen at 350 degrees, and allow it to blossom, as I like to say, because you see the difference here. This is how they arrive, nice and flat and pre-frozen. And then you just pop them in the oven, and then they puff beautifully. Allow them to, as I say, blossom because they get golden brown and they puff beautifully. And it's easy. Just don't open your oven door. Your nose is going to tell you when it's time, and you look through that window, and that's when you know.
Well, do we let these rest at all, Jen, when we're cooking them? Do we want them to sit? Because I feel like what I remember with the French croissants is that you don't just take it right out of the oven and dive right in. You want them to rest, and you want them to sit and let them breathe a little bit. That's like why they're so delicate.
Absolutely. So because it is a whisper thin puff pastry, I would allow them to rest for about 4 to 5 minutes. You don't really need to do any more than that. However, if you want to create a breakfast sandwich, or if you want to stuff it with something, use your kitchen shears, cut right down the front here. So cut around the front, but you want to allow it to rest for the same amount of time that it bakes. So if this in your oven is going to take about 26 to 28 minutes, you want to allow it to rest for 26 to 28 minutes, because then it will be nice and cool. You'll see all those layers. You give it a nice little cut through the front, and then you can stuff it, whether it be a, turkey, bacon, avocado sandwich, or maybe you want to make a BLT, or you want to do a chicken salad like you mentioned before, or a tuna salad, the breakfast sandwich. Anything that you want to stuff in this, just allow it to rest that same amount of time that it took you to bake.
Imagine if you had, let's say you get the 20 pack at home, and you're going to go for what is the most affordable option here. If you had the 20 pack at home and you had a fresh croissant every morning, Monday through Friday, you have a month of croissants that you're going to be able to go through. You're going to take a break on the weekend. But if you were to do that with just the 20 pack, that's what you would be covering. If you were to do that with the 60 pack on that same pattern, you would be able to have 3 months worth of a fresh croissant straight from France every single day, Monday through Friday. That covers you for the summer. You know, when you have something like this at home and you invite your girlfriends over for maybe an afternoon tea, you invite some ladies over for lunch, you have your family over for a Mother's Day or a Father's Day barbecue, and you take these out, and everyone gets to experience this incredibly decadent and incredibly beautifully made pastry. The fact that you get to say that you baked them, because you did, there's something like empowering about that. You know, we let Authentic Gourmet take the work out of it. They're the ones that work to be able to create and mix all the ingredients and give you the perfect recipe. They imported it for you from France. All you did was simply put it into the oven. So they made it easy for you to impress anybody it is that you're inviting over, to impress yourself when you can have that chicken salad sandwich that's in the middle of that perfect croissant that you created, and maybe you created on a whim. Because remind me again, Jen, how long does it take to cook in the oven?
About 26 to 28 minutes, because this is our largest size. So it does take a tiny bit longer than our other croissants. But again, you hit the nail on the head. You really can taste the difference. If you go to your store and you were to buy a croissant and stack it up next to our authentic croissant from France, you absolutely will taste a difference. Our butter is not salty, it's sweet, it's slightly creamy. And then our puff pastry is whisper thin. You can really see and smell the difference. You can taste the difference. See how light and flaky it is on the inside, but nice and chewy and full on the inside. That's a real French croissant. That is pastry that's made with French flour, French butter, French water. You can see all those wonderful layers as I just peel them away. It really is different. And it's interesting because you mentioned having your girlfriends over and enjoying croissant. I want you to think of this. True story, when we moved into our neighborhood, we invited some friends over, and I actually baked just this up. Berries, croissants, whipped topping, little chocolate sauce drizzle. It was fantastic. They are now, those neighbors that came over are our absolute best friends, and they still ask when they're here late at night. They're like, oh, can we bake some croissants? And it's what it does to you. It's this elevated experience. You can make any ordinary Tuesday extra extraordinary.
Oh, right.
It's almost like giving yourself a warm hug or a pat on the back, or like, here, I know you've had a rough day. let me treat myself, right? It's
Yep.
really something special that I can't even quite put into words.
No, it is that perfect way to wrap up your day. Maybe it's the perfect way to start your morning. You know how you have
Yeah.
those days, like, okay, let's use today. I knew that today, Jen,